Hello, everybody. Gage says it's empty. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hey, everybody. Thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. Today's beer comes from the Bruery. These guys are out in California, and they do some awesome stuff. And they put most of their stuff in these big 750 milliliter bottles where they can charge you an arm and a freaking leg for it. Just about everything that I've had from these guys have been in these big monster bottles. They brew a lot of tasty stuff, but they put them in these big monster bottles where you got to pay an arm and a leg for them. They don't. I don't think I've had anything from these guys that's in a 12-ounce bottle. Most of it is in these big 750s, and they got the foil on the top and all that stuff that costs a lot of money. This is their Saule, and what that is, this comes from Rico, my brother, and he says on this particular version that it is, let's see what he writes, a 16.1% ABV beer. Big beer. Drink this from home or have a designated driver, guys. Don't try to drink this out in a brew pub or a bar or anything like that. Anywhere where you, or a friend's house if you're driving. Do not drive after you've had this beer. I'm telling you. One glass of this is enough to get you a DUI. You've been warned. Rico writes, the Bruery Saule, S-A-U-L-E, 16.1% English style old ale aged in bourbon barrels and blended using the Solera method. He said he bought it for $23. He paid $23 for this. Not too awful bad for a bourbon barrel aged 16%er. He says it's bottled on March 28th of 17, and today is the 23rd of September. So it is 6 months. April, May, June, July, August, September. 6 months in the bottle. Almost. Today's the 23rd, 28th. Within a couple of days it'll be 6 months in the bottle. Saule is French for willow. A traditional 9-year anniversary gift. Our 9th anniversary ale. Saule follows in the footsteps of our anniversary releases before it, which are loosely based on an English-style old ale fermented with our house yeast strain, aged in bourbon barrels, and blended using the Solera method. This means that a portion of each anniversary ale is saved in oak barrels and blended in with the next year's production, providing more complexity and depth of character as the years go by. The result is layered in robust and complex flavors of toffee, caramel, dark fruit, vanilla, and oak. So, sounds tasty to me, guys. It really does. And like I said, I've not been disappointed by very many beers from these guys at the Bruery. They do some very, very tasty beers. They're famous for their sour ales, but they do a lot of other stuff. But they put them in these big monster bottles that cost a lot of money. And a lot of people are off-put by that. They won't spend that $20 to $30 for a bottle like this. Rico doesn't have a problem with that. And he picks these things up and sends them to me. So Rico, my brother, love you, man. I do appreciate everything you do for me and all the wonderful beers you send me, sir. So we read the commercial description on this. It is a big monster beer at 16.1%. Over to Untapped, they have it at the same 16.1% and no IBUs. And they're famous for that. They don't tell you what the IBUs are on the beer. Not super critical on this style of beer. But I would like to know it just for shits and grins. Whether it's a 40, 50, 70, or whatever the IBUs are. And I've read you the commercial description. I'm not going to read it again from either one of these sites. and it's got the foil on top of it, but usually it's fairly easy to get off. It ain't like what Avery does, and it comes off in little bitty pieces. They do it like a wine bottle, where you can pull the tab on it and get the ribbon off of it, and then it's easier for me just to put a slice across the top and one down the side, and usually everything peels right off like that, and that's what you want. So I don't have a problem with the way they do their foil on their beers. Not like Avery comes off in little bitty pieces. And a lot of people, you know, and it's not a chore. I mean, I just don't want that foil or anything to get down in the beer while I'm pouring it. And you can keep that from happening. I fuss a lot of times about the Avery beers, but I can be sometimes. So they do what they want to do, and I just don't care for it. I don't care for that little bitty piece of the foil coming off, and I don't care for wax on top of the bottles. It's just me, guys. All right, let's get the damn thing open and get it into the glass. The final beer of the evening for me, not to share for my significant other half, which I shall do. Little bit of hiss on this one. Into the glass we go. Alright, while I pour this, I will tell you the cheese of the buttery brie Gouda Havarti Swiss, general, digestive, glassware to pint, Beckernonic tumbler snifter, oversized wine glass. I got my favorite snifter, the Sovereign beer glass, and can be sold for a long period of time, guys. I can't think of a single reason why you could not sell this beer. And it is in the bottle. It's a like I said, it's a 2017 edition. It's been in the bottle almost 6 months. Over to the light, it is very murky, brownish, mahogany red color. It's very cloudy, guys. I'm not getting a lot of light, just a little bit through the thin part of the glass down here. Nothing through the big bowl part. Looks pretty good. To the nose we go. Nice bourbon notes. I am getting the caramel toffee, molasses, hints of dark fruit in there, dates, raisin, plums, figs. Smells very, very, very awesome, guys. Not a super big sweetness like a barley wine would have, but the bourbon notes are there. I mean, and I love that. I love them big bourbon notes on the beer. If you're paying $20 to $30 for a bottle of beer and it says bourbon barrel aged, I want to be able to smell and taste that bourbon. I've had a lot of beers, and I say a lot, that says they're bourbon barrel aged, and I have absolutely no hint, taste, smell, aroma of the bourbon. So when they say that on there, I expect it. So, and this has got it. It smells absolutely wonderful. Get a little hint of vanilla, and as it opens up, the more I flap my gums back here, and it sets in the glass, and it's opening up and getting more acclimated to the air, I get more and more things. The first 30 seconds, not so much. A minute later, a little bit more. 2 minutes later, a little bit more than that. Hints of vanilla and coconut from the barrels. Smells pretty damn good, guys. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Rico. Absolutely wonderful, guys. Still a little hot to me. 6 months in the barrel. This will keep 5, 10, 15, even 20 years. This beer will keep and it'll mature. It'll come together a little bit more. The flavors will combine. It'll probably be better in 5 or 10 years than it is right now. This is one of the beers you could have now, or you could celebrate. Whatever you choose to do. If you got deep pockets, buy 2 of them. Buy one, have one, and then sell the other one for 3, 5, 10 years. Maybe even do a side-by-side. If they do this beer again, do 2 different years and see how the beer has changed over time. I've done that a bunch of times with doing vertical reviews of different beers from different years. And usually I can tell the difference between those. So, another good candidate to try that with, if you so choose to. Very nice beer. Awesome beer. Very tasty. The other half's going to love this. She absolutely will love it. She loves these big bourbon barrel beers like I do. And being the final beer of the evening, I'll sip on this and she'll sip on this. And that'll wind up everything for us. And we'll have dinner. And a lot of times she'll save some of this and have it with her dinner. Usually I finish up the review and then I'll drink water with my dinner. It's just me. But you can, this will go good with a big bold dish. We're having seafood tonight, so I think I'm going to finish this one off on the review and drink water with my dinner. But we're going to sip on it for at least 30 minutes. So let it come up to room temperature and see if I get any further notes than what I'm getting right now. And I think I probably will. The darker fruit and stuff will come out a little bit more, maybe a little more coconut and vanilla, and see where it ends up. It's a very pleasant beer, a very tasty beer, and I expect that. I mean, if you're going to pay that kind of money, between $20 and $30 for a beer, you ought to enjoy it, you ought to like it, and it ought to have all the aspects of what they're saying it is on the label. If it says bourbon barrel, you ought to be able to taste that bourbon barrel. It ought to be a first run bourbon barrel that they've aged it in, not something that's had beer in it before. So, very nice. That will go well with that Maduro wrap cigar I'm fixing to have with this. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. Got just a little left here. Pretty damn tasty beer here. A great beer to cellar if you so choose to. I would recommend buying 2 of them if your pockets will allow that to happen. It is not a cheap beer, $23, and it's probably going to vary from state to state and depending on where you buy it. I enjoyed this. This is a very tasty beer. I got her input on it. She loved it. I asked her, is this a 9 or a 10 beer? And she said it's a 10 beer. I respect her decision because she has had just as many of these beers as I have. She's tasted every freaking one that I have tasted. It's pretty damn impressive. I will say that. I was on the fence between a 9 and a 10. That's why I asked her that. Is this a 9 or is it a 10 beer? Can you taste the bourbon? Yes. Can you taste the vanilla? Can you taste the coconut? Can you taste the dark fruit? She said yes. And so can I. Guys, I'm probably going to go against the grade on this one because this is an outstanding beer. But there's a lot of people who will pass this beer by because it's in a huge bottle and it's a $23 or more bottle of beer. A lot of the guys that buy craft beers are just trying to get into craft beers. They will pass this by, and it's probably a good thing. If you're used to drinking Miller, Bud, or Coors Light, or something in the macro lager, this will put your face down in the dirt. This is a 16.1%. This is 3+ beers in one bottle. Drink responsibly, guys. I can't emphasize that enough. If you drink a glass of this in the state of Virginia and you go through a road check, 1 glass is enough to get you a DUI. 1 glass. So I want to emphasize that enough. Please drink responsibly, guys. If you're going to drink something of this magnitude out in a bar or brew pub or whatever, make sure you have somebody else driving you that's not drinking this beer. Or not drinking any beer as far as that goes, because in Virginia, I mean, if you've had 1 Budweiser, you might even get an impaired driving ticket if you go through a road check. Just be aware of that, guys. Please drink responsibly. That's why I'm doing it here. I'm at home. I can just walk back to the bedroom and fall down into bed. I'm not hurting anybody. Just be aware of that. Just be aware of that. I want to emphasize that heavily. If you're drinking a 16% beer out and you try to drive somewhere, enough said. Enough said. Final chug. Awesome aroma. Oh God, it's awesome. That is absolutely freaking delicious, guys. With her input, it is a 10 beer. I'm not going to argue with you. If you say it's not a 10 beer, I'm not going to argue with that. But I think it's a 10 beer. It's absolutely outstanding. A great final beer of the evening. I'm getting the roasted malt. I'm getting the bittersweet chocolate. I'm getting the roasted malt, the coconut, the vanilla, the dark fruit. Everything they're wanting you to get on this beer. Absolutely delicious. Delicious. Over to Beer Advocate, they say 100%. Hey, there you go. I agree 100%. 100%, 100%. It's a 10 beer. And over to Untapped, the guys over to Untapped, which I usually agree with more than Beer Advocate, they say it's a 4.19. That is their A- to A category. I'm gonna disagree with those guys on this one. I think this is outstanding, guys. It's a 10 beer. If you don't think this is a 10 beer, what don't you like that you're tasting on this beer? Especially for a 16%er. It's got the bourbon notes, and it's got the rich roasted malt. It's got the caramel, the toffee, the molasses, the dark fruit. What is your reasoning for not giving this a 10? So, like I said, I was on the fence between a 9 and a 10, and she and I asked her, "What do you think about this beer? Are you getting this, 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 and this, and this?" And she said, "Yes, I'm getting all of that. So am I." So it's a 10 for me. It's world class. It's outstanding. So a great candidate, and you're only paying like, I think Rico told me he paid like $23 for this beer. There's a lot of beers that cost a lot more than that, and I mean there's beers in this size bottle that cost up between $30 and $40, between $20 and $30. So the guys at the brewery, very well done. 2 thumbs up to those guys over there. Excellent beer, very very nice beer. And if you have some friends over, and I'm not saying buy this beer and drink it every day, unless you have super deep pockets. This is a special occasion beer. This is something you'd want to share with close friends, your other half, or whoever you choose to share it with. But I think it's pretty impressive. It is impressive beer. So that's it. We got all the grades. We're going to wrap it up and not flapping my gums any longer. If you've had this one from the brewery, this is their Saule, S-A-U-L-E, or Saule. Let me know what you think. This is a 2017 edition of it. Pretty tasty. I enjoyed this. Great final beer of the evening. Come on back tomorrow, or until we meet again, let's go see what's in the fridge.